This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Hey, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3507. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And you are in the Men's Room. On tap today, it is a random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: hot cities and hot vegetables. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack, drink out the drunk.
All right, here we go. Michigan man doing yard work finds 160 bowling balls buried in his backyard. Meanwhile, a Special Forces soldier parachute fails to open, and he smashes into a home, and smashes hard. Ohio man pulled over for traffic stop, calls 911 and reports a fake shooting so cops would leave. A Pennsylvania couple's fight over chips and grilled cheese sandwiches is actually kind of hard to believe. And it appears that Burger King University is in need of a new freshman class. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, few things are as rewarding as the sound of children playing. Unless, of course, that sound is mixed with blood-curdling screams for help. See, that was the case in Belarus, for not 1, not 2, but 3 bouncy castles were blown 30 feet into the air and sent crashing into the ground into surrounding structures. Now, believe it or not, 4 children, 3 adults, they were injured, but that was it. But look, bouncy castles are not supposed to be dangerous. Neither is a sponsored overnight stay at a zoo. At least that's what authorities at the Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium in Omaha thought, see? But now they're informing the 200 guests who did spend the night that they might have rabies. I mean, they might not, but they might. Either way, they can't be sure. They just recommend that maybe you get rabies shots, because apparently a group of wild bats also spent the night at the zoo and may have infected the guests. But much like the bouncy castles, mostly children involved. And then meanwhile, we go to Virginia, Busch Gardens Amusement Park. 2 people there treated for rabies. That's right, not from bats. This time because a rabid fox attacked them. By the way, if you're wondering where it's located, this would be the same amusement park where Fabio was hit in the face by a goose while he was on a roller coaster. Exact same park, yeah. Apparently you just don't want to go there. Bad things happen with animals. These are just some of the stories that we stumbled across. Stories that left us with many questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your story, we'll share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the big show, the Random Question. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Start summer up by mixing things up with top paint and stain brands at Lowe's. Shop HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, Valspar, Cabot to find the perfect pop of color or classic shade you've been looking for. And don't forget to prep your deck for the season with reliable wood stain and sealer. Now's the perfect time to complete your paint or stain project. Lowe's, all things summer, all at the right price.
Back to the conversation. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Overcharge and away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3,507. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Once again, the exciting return of your guest is as good as mine. A couple categories today as we are in the midst of summertime here in the United States. I believe last month, the month of June, the hottest June in the recorded history of the United States of America. As far as the average temperatures go. And not only were the usual hot spots, getting hit pretty hard, but some places in the middle of nowhere. Alaska, Fairbanks, was hitting some pretty crazy highs last week. Hell, man, if you look at what's going on right now in Death Valley, it's been 115 degrees. They haven't gotten below 90 degrees at night.
It is called Death Valley.
Yeah. So what we have for you today is we have the 10 hottest cities on average in the United States of America.
All right. Okay.
So the ones that get the hottest. Those will be category number one. Category number two, as we get set for vegetable season, which happens about now every year. If you go to your local farmer's market, you will see a vast array of a lot more vegetables and things like that than you have in the last few months as things are getting ripe. Kale's always going to be on the menu, but now you're going to get some tomatoes. Now you're going to get some corn, green beans.
That's seasonal stuff.
Yeah, you're going to get the good stuff. So we have the top 10 fruits and vegetables that people say they're growing this year, and a lot more people are doing it.
They're growing.
Yeah, they're doing a garden because of the pandemic. So we've got what people want to grow in their backyard. The things you water that never equate to the water bill. Basically, that's what we've got as your categories for your guess is as good as mine. And today's the day we do our random question. 206-421-ROCK. Does that mean that everyone is just dropped?
Random,
just got dropped.
Okay. If you're on hold for the random question, please give us a call back, 206-421-ROCK.
Because they're not on hold anymore, see?
We'll get to you real quick because there's nobody there. All right, let's see here. Okay. I think I'm going to start with this one. This is one we can all answer. What, in your lifetime, what amusement parks have you been to, and what do you think some of the best amusement parks are? So, amusement parks all over the country, there's all kinds of different ones. I know, Steve, you mentioned the other day the lovely Dutch Wonderland in Pennsylvania. God, I have been there. It is a living hellhole. But the kids love it. It's for the younger kids. They love it. It's a young ride paradise. It's kind of
correct. It's like a Disney movie. The kids are very happy. Every adult wants it to be over.
But I have been there.
Disney World is great, but I don't know that I would say it's the best amusement park.
The problem with the Disney stuff, and last time I was there as a kid, but still, it's just the lines, man. You know everything's going to be overpriced. That's understood, but it's more like waiting in line for hours, man, to get on a roller coaster that goes 30 seconds. There's a place called, King's Dominion?
King's Dominion down in Virginia. That's very good.
It's a great amusement park, man. They had the perfect number of roller coasters. The lines were never really longer than maybe 45 minutes. Like, that would be an exceptionally long time there. But, yeah, man,
Well, Disney, too, though, like I'm saying, Disney's not known for its rides.
That's a good
known
point.
for the attractions.
Right,
and
right.
MGM Studios has some good ones like the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror.
Oh, that's right.
But like Magic Kingdom, outside of like the Log Ride and Space Mountain, like
they're good, but they're so. It's what they put around the rides, like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
correct.
It's a fantastic ride. It's not an action-packed ride. It's just the effects
What do
that
you
are going
do?
on. The Haunted
What is that?
Mansion's another example of a great ride. I mean, but it's not. You're not dropping 300 feet down a screaming roller coaster. They're still cool rides. Even the Jurassic Park ride that I was on, I believe, the Raiders of the Lost Ark that broke down. That was a great ride until it broke down. Everything was going. I was like, this is cool, man. And like the soaring ride where you.
Soaring's great. But I think like Universal has better rides.
They're known for that.
Disney
right?
kind of is like, hey, you come here for the magic and you meet the characters and this. And don't get me wrong, they have some.
Right.
But like even King's Dominion in Virginia to me has a much higher quality of coaster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what about the ones where you sit in them and they just kind of go up and down and give you the illusion that you're in a ride, but you're watching a movie? More the kind that they would have at Universal. Have you guys been on like the Back to the
It depends
Future
if it's
ride?
like 3D, because there's like Wings Over Washington down on the waterfront, right? We went to that, and it's pretty cool. My daughter screamed to the same like we're on a roller coaster. It was actually amazing listening because everyone else was quiet. It's pretty cool, but her adrenaline rush seemed misplaced for what it was, but it was still kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, I've yet to go to Wild Waves. There's a few coasters there. They look like they're pretty decent little coasters, so that might be a good afternoon. I've been to Kings Island, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is the same owners as King's Dominion.
I will say this. I do not like the state of Ohio, but they have fantastic amusement parks.
They had this roller coaster called the Beast, which at the time was the longest roller coaster in the world. All these records have probably been broken.
Sure.
There was a great amusement park outside of Pittsburgh called Kennywood Park.
I remember that one.
And Kennywood Park had a bunch of old roller coasters. They were built back in the 30s and the 40s, and the damn things are still there. And the problem with it is you basically just take a chain with a latch and put it over your bench that you're sitting in. There's no harnesses. There's nothing that's really you can slide back and
weren't
forth.
designed to like throw you out, right? Like you get on these roller coasters.
It's still hairy. You know what I mean?
It's hairy only because you get on the new ones, right? And you are harnessed in as though you're getting on the space shuttle, right?
Yeah.
But then when you start whipping around on there, you're very glad for all that,
right? And I think my favorite of all time is either Busch Gardens in Tampa or Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Do you want to explain why?
Yes,
it has nothing to do with the ride.
Yes, I
this
will.
has nothing to do with the ride.
Busch Gardens, though, they have some legit rides.
They have great rides, Ted. This is not why Miles has singled
The Scorpion's a great one. They've got a Viper, a roller coaster. Obviously, the Loch Ness Monster was one of the first major ones they built. The difference between going to a regular amusement park and Busch Gardens is just right there in the name. When you go to Busch Gardens, every single little area they have, which is like maybe they have an adventure land over here and a roller coaster land over here and all the little different parts of the park, have at least 2 to 3 beer gardens and restaurants in them. Where people are sitting outside drinking beer, pitchers of beer. You can get yards of beer. You think of any way you could possibly drink a beer, they've got it for you at Busch Gardens. And because of that, they have beer stands. You do not wait in line to get a beer. And they have no more than 10 different restaurants in the amusement park. If you want pizza, you get pizza and beer. If you want hamburgers and hot dogs and beer, or chicken wings, they've got that place too. And that's the cool thing about that.
You just want the beer.
You can get a beer and walk around the park. And unlike, Disneyland or Disney World, where that's not necessarily something you can do, or any amusement park that I've been to, because it's owned by the Busch family.
Right.
It's all about Budweiser.
Yeah, they want you to drink beer.
Yeah, exactly. So
and get on a roller coaster.
Right. So,
and with Disney, it just matters where you are.
Right.
Like Magic Kingdom, I think outside of Cinderella's castle, but you got to have reservations. I don't think they serve beer in there. But if you go to Epcot, that's like part of the tradition.
Are there
characters? Can you walk around
in
with
the
your drink
areas?
and go to
Oh,
the next
yeah.
place? Okay.
And it's only Magic Kingdom that does it. But
do they have characters in the areas where you can drink beer? So, in other words, if I'm in Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I met Snow White outside of Mexico.
Oh, really? Was she nice?
Were you all drunk?
Well,
Hitting on
Mexico. No. I mean, it was me and my mom and my cousin. It was just hot as hell.
She's one of the few you can talk to.
Correct. She talks.
Right.
Cinderella doesn't say much. She's got to keep that up. But Snow White was very nice.
She was.
So is there the person who plays Cinderella versus the person who plays Snow White? I'm guessing Disney says, "Hey, if you're Snow White, you can run at the mouth a little bit. Cinderella, we need you to play close to the vest."
Yeah, and I don't know how to explain it, but when Cinderella shows up, like you think it's a actual royalty.
All right.
It's very odd.
It's
like Snow White, like you're just like, oh, it's a character, and I can't explain it. When Cinderella comes in the room, you're like, shh.
When I met oh God, what's the Jetsons? George Jetson.
George Jetson.
I met George Jetson at Universal Studios. Really nice guy.
All right.
He talks to you. He's got this voice thing going on. He's, I'm George Jetson. Like he talks like that. And I was like,
does he talk like that the whole time you talk to him?
Yeah, you can ask him anything you want. He's just like, he's got the cartoon voice going on. I don't know if they have a voice box in there or whatever, but he's a decent guy. The reason
George Jetson, great guy,
decent human being. His boy Elroy, I didn't meet him, but anyway. The reason we asked what amusement,
I met Winnie the Pooh.
What amusement?
Does he talk?
No, like him, Piglet, Mickey, Donald. None of them talk.
Really?
Goofy should.
No, because they're inside the costume, so they do everything with hands. Or Mickey stomps his feet a lot.
Okay. I just feel like Mickey should say something.
I met Mickey once, but I was like 5.
Well,
so I don't really remember the interaction at all, but I remember it was a big deal.
Hey,
I still got the pictures from when I was a kid.
Hey, kid, you want his Pall Mall?
And he took a picture with me, even though I was wearing a SeaWorld shirt. You know what I mean?
Were you?
Yeah, direct competition, man, and he's still decent to me.
He killed that killer whale later.
So the reason we asked what amusement parks have you been to, and we'll go right back to Virginia and Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. Last week, 2 people were attacked by a rabid fox at the Virginia theme park. The fox was found quickly and died not long after it was captured. Local health district advised that rabies is preventable and treatable, although those vaccines are not very fun, especially a shot after you've been exposed. No word on the condition of the victims, which were a man and a boy. And it is not the first time someone had a shocking close encounter with an animal at the Busch Gardens theme park in Williamsburg, Virginia. It is the park where Fabio was photographed with blood on his face after he got on the Chariot roller coaster back in 1999 and smashed into a goose. While the roller coaster was running, the goose smashed him in the face and broke his nose. Less than a month ago, the Griffin roller coaster had stopped at the very top, and 28 people were evacuated. I would rather take the evacuation than get bit by a rabid fox.
Random. By the way, Ted, someone comments, the Little Mermaid, not little, but very nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's chatty, but apparently she's quite nice. And someone here says, I was on the Hulk coaster in Orlando. The seatbelt came unlatched on the kid next to me while we were leaving the tunnel. I spent the entire ride holding the kid in the seat. Made for an interesting picture after we got off the ride.
I bet so. He was hugging me, Daddy.
My cousin almost fought Chip of Chippendale.
What do you mean he almost fought him?
Like, my family's psycho about, like, baseball, like, stuff. So, like, their hats, their gloves. Like, you can't put your hand inside of somebody else's glove. And you don't touch a man's hat. But Chip came over and was having fun. And he, like, takes my cousin's hat. And he's, like, messing around with it. And everybody's like, Chip, you might want to put that down. Chip threw it in the food.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't think he meant to. He just kind of went, all right, and threw it down, and it landed, like, in his food. I mean, he was fuming for, like, an hour and a half.
And did he apologize in any way whatsoever?
Well, he doesn't speak much.
Okay,
Chip.
so he can't
that makes it easy. Just kind of shrug. Like.
Yeah, he didn't mean to, but I mean, you can just see to my cousin's face, like, man, he's going to haul off and punch Chip.
Yeah.
Beat Chip's ass.
Be banned forever. That's a problem.
That'd be fair, though. Like, hey, man, he threw my hat in my food. I know he's a chipmunk, but seriously. He is a chipmunk, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Guess who it is, Ted?
James.
James, welcome to the men's room.
Hola! James, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's go with this one since we're on the subject. James, what went wrong when you went camping?
What went wrong when I went camping?
That is correct.
My girlfriend's mom broke her foot.
How early into the camping trip?
Day number 2.
Okay.
How long did you guys plan on being there?
5 days.
And did you call it quits at this time? Basically, was she a buzzkill and ruin the whole thing, or what?
Absolutely not. Take your ass to the hospital. I'm partying.
And did you guys take her to the hospital, or did she take herself?
Somebody in the group took her, but my girlfriend and I, no. We definitely were already too smashed, and we just laughed the entire time.
You know what? You played that pretty smart. If I get really, really hammered, then no matter what else goes on, I cannot possibly be responsible for helping it.
How far away was the closest hospital?
We were in Ocean Shores, so I have no idea.
Oh, so you don't care at all, do you?
And
I don't care.
Right.
I was drinking. She's the one who was drunk trying to find her place back to the camp, and she fell and rolled her ankle and broke it.
Okay, so what did you... She was just walking and just completely snapped her ankle in half?
Yes.
And where do you camp at Ocean Shores? Do you camp on the beach, or do you find a place like in the woods someplace up on a cliff?
It was the state park.
Okay. All
right.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
So, really nice place. Just walked out to the beach, and I guess she got lost on the way back from the beach and broke her ankle. And we just laughed about it. We didn't care.
I don't think
I've
never done beach camping before. That's one that I've never done before.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I've done a lot of different types.
Sounds
of
a lot more appealing than any other type.
I've done more glamping than anything else, I guess. But,
Sure.
As far as doing camping in all kinds of different conditions, that's not one of them. The reason we asked what went wrong when you were camping, roughly 200 people back to rabies again were possibly exposed to a rabid bat while staying overnight at Omaha Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium. I don't know why they were camping at the zoo, but zoo and Nebraska health officials recommended that roughly 186 campers who stayed overnight at the aquarium, as well as some staffers, get rabies shots. Camper woke up on July 4th to a wild bat flying around her head. Zoo emergency medical technician didn't find any bites or scratches on her, but the zoo then found 7 wild bats in the aquarium and euthanized them. One of the bats tested positive.
Sends a message to the rest of the animals.
Rabies. Yeah, it really does. They recommended that people exposed to wild bats while they were sleeping get rabies shots now. The zoo gave campers refunds and is paying for the shots. What am I missing here on zoo camping? Another one that I've never done before. Has anyone ever gone to an aquarium to camp? What am I
I guess
missing
maybe
here?
they open it up and hey,
for
bring your
kids,
family.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense.
I mean, to camp in the zoo?
Yeah. I mean, if my kids wanted to do it, I'd let them.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it sounds like,
You're surrounded by wild animals at night? I mean, I know they're enclosed, but still, I mean, I guess, yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool, actually.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I'd do it on my own, but if you had kids you were taking or...
Okay, all right.
My real reason to not want to do that is just the stink of the zoo. I always forget how bad zoos smell until I get to the zoo.
Yes.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I always forget how bad it smells. I just can't imagine voluntarily spending the night in a place that smells like ape ass.
I mean, I like to camp in a lot of weird places. You know what I mean? Like if the Sounders were like, hey, after the game, set up your tent. You can
On the
camp.
field?
Yeah, but
I'd do it.
Cool.
I'd do that too.
Yeah.
That'd be what I do. Absolutely. More of the Random Question coming up. 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Start summer up by mixing things up with top paint and stain brands at Lowe's. Shop HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, Valspar, Cabot to find the perfect pop of color or classic shade you've been looking for. And don't forget to prep your deck for the season with reliable wood stain and sealer. Now's the perfect time to complete your paint or stain project. Lowe's, all things summer, all at the right price.
99.9 KISW. Yeah! You're in the men's room.
Random question, 206-421-ROCK.
We were just talking about the Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium in Omaha, right?
Yeah.
So people did they spent the night there. I guess they were attacked or made contact with rabid bats, whatever. So you were saying, who the hell spends the night at the zoo? Well, we got someone here that says, look, I'm from Omaha, and we would have summer camp sleepovers at that zoo every year. So I said, that zoo. They say yes. Then I asked them, ever get rabies? They said no, but I did make out with the chick, which is much better than getting rabies.
I'll roll the dice on
much
that.
better than getting rabies. Then someone else, Miles, you pointed out, man, I'm camping at a zoo. I'm surrounded by wild animals. And someone makes the point, well, dude, if you camp in the woods, you're surrounded by wild animals all night.
I'll be damned, you're
Just
right.
saying. Not in cages.
Not those kind, though. Not like a lion and a tiger and stuff. Because those things get out.
They don't really get out.
They get out.
I mean,
I feel safer sleeping overnight in a zoo than I do out in the woods.
I would too.
Well, the bear population's really had a great year, so.
Yeah. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Alex, welcome to the program. Random question. Alex, you a gambling guy?
Here and there.
Okay. Let's just assume we go to the casino for an afternoon. What types of games are you most likely to play?
21 in poker.
All right. So are you decent at poker?
I'd like to think so.
What's the most you've won playing poker?
Probably only like $500.
That's not bad. What's the most you've won playing blackjack?
$750, I think.
That's pretty impressive. So is that your biggest haul, $750?
Oh, yeah, easily, because usually by the time, once I win big, I call it quits and start buying rounds.
All right.
I'm right there with you, man. If I hit anything significant, like, you know what? I'm going to quit while I'm ahead and get really drunk.
Are you a slots guy?
No.
Really? Why do you say it like that?
I don't like, if I'm going to gamble, I like to have somewhat of control with slots. Pushing buttons just doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
And what would you say is the game that is way beyond your pay grade as far as being able to know the game, to be able to play it? It's just too complicated. Whoa.
Oh.
Like Pie Gals or anything out there that's just kind of, you really have to know what you're doing?
Yeah, probably. Dominoes in general, but yeah, Pie Gal, Dominoes, that's just way above my care and knowledge.
Okay. I didn't realize there were dominoes. I didn't realize
you gamble?
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen that before.
I've never seen that.
I've seen the roulette. I've seen all kinds of dice.
I like dominoes, man.
Craps.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, the reason we asked, what do you normally play at the casino? Here's a big time story. A slot machine player hit the jackpot at the Wind Creek Casino in Pennsylvania, according to Pennsylvania State Police. 40-year-old man was on a little vacation from New York City, and he was playing a slot machine when he hit the jackpot at the Bethlehem Casino, and he won $1,956, which was the total amount of this penny slot.
Okay.
So playing penny slots, $2,000, that's a pretty good haul. Except after winning, the man left the machine and he did not grab the printed voucher he would need to cash out.
Oh, man.
But a man standing behind him who was watching him win all this money and get excited and walk away, he saw him. So he took the voucher and cashed it out at a kiosk and then left the casino.
Of course he did.
So, and there's nothing that, believe it or not, that is illegal about what he did.
Really? So, well, I guess there's not.
He walked up to the machine. The machine wasn't doing anything. He hit the voucher and then just walked away. Because the machine is not occupied, they just figured if you're going to go and put, because I guess you can just take the money. I'm not sure exactly how that goes.
My thought, if you hit on a slot machine, first of all, it makes a whole lot of noise. Like, don't leave the machine. I've only won, it's not even that I won big, but I won $960, right?
That's a lot.
But I was super broke at the time playing quarter slots at the Flamingo, and I'm surrounded by blue hairs. And I know a woman had been sitting at that slot maybe 3 pulls before me, but she got up, went to a different machine. So I took that machine, put a quarter in, man. And this thing, like, the sirens start going off, and it's making all this noise. So in my mind, I must have won.
Does it show you as the dollar amount increases?
It doesn't. What it does, it doesn't say the dollars. It says, like, your credits or something like that. But anyway, my credits rolled up to like 5,000, whatever. So I'm like, holy ass, I can't believe this. But then when you did the math, it was 960. Still, at that time, so I immediately stopped. I did not play any more slots. Again, I'm super broke. I'm there for my buddy's wedding. I bought lunch. I bought dinner. I made it back home and bought a new TV.
Sweet.
Nice.
Okay.
Random.
Then I was broke again.
Random.
Hello, Tony. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. Tony, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, Tony, let's go with this one. What caused the damage to the home or the apartment or the place that you were living? What or whom caused the damage?
Let's see. Before I bought my place, dogs ravished the trim on the house.
They chewed it all out.
Yeah, trying to get in. Trying to get into the place, you know.
Okay, all right. So did you have to replace all the trim in your home?
No, it was a short sale, so I bought it after the dogs.
Okay, but what I mean is, did you go in and replace the trim after you bought the home?
No, I'm a lazy PS.
So you still have chewed trim in your home from dogs that you don't even know?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
How long have you been in this house with the chewed up trim?
2010.
All right, so it's been a while.
11 goddamn years, and you're just like, the hell with it.
All right, what home improvements have you made then instead?
I built a 30 by 20 deck in the front looking over the lake, and I did all the hardwood.
You did all the hardwood, but you didn't replace the trim.
Just not messing with that trim.
Because when you have to replace the hardwood, you got to rip off the trim.
All right, so now you just have no trim?
No, it's all unmatched.
I see. Okay, all right. I bet that looks great.
Yeah, built a deck, replaced all the hardwood floors, F the trim.
Yeah. My dad, he busted the toilet, flooded my entire home. Had to do all the hardwood and get it all sanded again because it all warped based on the amount of water damage. I had a dog that ate through a steel cage and then tried to start digging underneath the door, pulled all the carpet up, pulled all the padding up, and was digging into the plywood.
Jesus.
When we got home after 2.5 hours. That was
2.5 hours?
Yes. I have more dog stories about them blowing the entire downstairs up on vacation. There was a woman who was almost electrocuted in my house because she thought it would be a good idea to soak the carpet in water and then attempt to vacuum it.
Didn't she try to what? Vacuum diarrhea?
Vacuum diarrhea, which spread it more around the house. So needless to say, all of that
Who
had to be...
recommended this woman to you? Because this is a full-grown woman.
The only person...
There's diarrhea on the floor, and your thought is to grab a vacuum cleaner?
There were two people involved in that decision-making process, and it wasn't me. So whoever that other person was probably the one that made that decision. Well, the reason we asked what caused the damage to your home, this is a doozy. A British soldier cheated death after smashing through a roof and landing in someone's kitchen when his parachute failed to open fully.
Did you see the pictures?
Yes, on a Special Forces free fall jump. He had leapt out of the plane at more than 15,000 feet on what they call a high altitude, low opening jump known as halo.
Okay.
All right. But he spiraled out of control when the chute failed to fully deploy. Local residents called 911 after seeing him plummeting toward the ground in Southern California. The impact punched a gaping hole in the red-tiled roof of a bungalow. Think about a Spanish-looking home with old tile roof that never needs to be replaced. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff that's been up there since the house was built. It'll probably never need to be replaced.
It needs to be replaced every 40 years, and I know this because that's what's on my roof, and it was installed about 40 years ago.
I see what you're going at.
Yeah.
I bet it's really cheap to put that stuff right back on there.
We're not replacing it with some, we did some simple math, and I said, I hope you liked it because we're not replacing it.
How much?
I mean, obviously redoing a roof, you're going to say thousands of dollars, but it's like thousands upon thousands of dollars. I'm like, no.
And you can't imagine. He blew a hole in the top of this thing. There's no way.
Right, man.
Based on the sun bleaching and everything else, you can't go to Home Depot and like buy something that's going to blend into that whatsoever.
Not only did he smash through the roof, but I want to say he punched
He smashed through the kitchen.
Right.
The soldier was wearing a uniform reserved for the UK Special Forces. He tumbled through the loft, through an interior ceiling, and landed in the ground floor of the kitchen. Now, keep in mind, his straps are still going all the way up because his parachute is on top of the roof. Police said the residents of the home were not there when the incident happened at about 5 o'clock. Pictures of the scene show the stunned soldier on his back in the kitchen, surrounded by debris and brick dust. He was still attached to the harness. The lines ran through the roof. The parachute was splayed on the roof's top. Pictures showed that he did have bloodied ankles. He was taken to the city hospital for treatment. Police said all the other soldiers taking part in the training exercise landed safely at the designated landing field. That's just one more, knife to the back they had to do on that guy. You got to wonder if he did not hit the roof of that house, if that guy would have made it.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's amazing when you look at the picture, because I thought for sure he'd be dead, but like I said, he was just sitting there. But it's crazy because it looked like a marionette. Because the strings were still going up to the roof, but he's sitting in the kitchen. It looks real weird.
This is why I'm never going skydiving. This is the reason. Because they are special forces. Mm-hmm. Like, they are the most elite group in that army or whatever they're in, right?
Right. So they got to specialize in a lot of things. Like the guys you go skydiving with, that's the one thing.
But this is their job.
I know.
That's the difference. I mean, this is the job that they got to do. So if that's day-to-day stuff, you know what I mean? And that happens, hell no.
Well, it's still a job, though.
It is a job.
I mean, I don't know. Baseball players, their job is to hit the ball. Well, they don't do it all the time.
Right, but they don't almost die. You know what I mean? I guess is the only difference.
That is very true, but right.
All right, we lost our callers.
Yes, we did.
I mean, you're right. The stakes are higher, but it's like, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like this quote here. Somebody says, if your parachute doesn't open, you have the rest of your life to fix it. Words from his drill sergeant.
You have the rest of your life
to figure it out.
I'll give you guys this one.
Oh, by the way, someone else just says, ironically enough, they actually recommend you aim for a roof versus the ground if your chute doesn't open. The roof is more forgiving. So see, his special training. He's like, I'll crash to that bungalow.
I'll be damned. God, he had to be terrified.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Okay. Who would you guys say was the most memorable opening act that you ever seen in concert? So, in other words, you really didn't, you know what I mean? Maybe they were early in their career and you didn't realize what you were seeing at the time. Or the fact that, maybe it was just the fact that they blew the main band off stage.
The first opening act, second opening act I ever saw was Queensryche back in like 83. And the thing that made it very memorable to me was just that Geoff Tati was wearing this gold lame tank top. And it looked ridiculous, but I remember he was very smiley, and he was a guy that liked to stand on the monitors and sing. Right. But he was a lot younger, man, real energetic. And I just remember, I don't remember anything about the show other than that shirt looked so uncomfortable and ridiculous. Keep in mind, they were opening for KISS, and I thought that Geoff Tate looked ridiculous. Just remember, KISS was coming out next, and the thing that I thought looked amazing was him. But there was a band called Circle or Circus of Power. They were a pretty decent band. And they were opening up for Faith No More about 1,000 years ago. All right, so the lights go down. This is the first song of the first band, and they had a real cool build-up, man. So the band's out on stage, and they're kind of jamming, but it has like this real sinister build-up. And as it's building up, man, and you can feel it's palpable, you know what I mean? The lead singer comes strolling out, and this dude is a beast, man. He's probably like 6'6", 240, all muscle. And he strolls out with this real cool stroll, and he's got the mic stand in both hands, right? And he's kind of holding it sideways. Mm-hmm. And he is just mean mugging the crowd. And it was this real badass moment. It was real cool. And everyone's like, you already like this band. And right when he was getting ready to sing, he stepped off the edge of the 6-foot stage, man.
God.
And the crowd just started laughing. Like, he was okay, but they could not regain the crowd's respect after. I mean, he walked out, and it was such a cool moment, man. They were like, that son of a bitch just fell off the stage. He looked embarrassed. The band looked embarrassed for him, and it lacked a punch after that, man, because he just wanted to not be looked at anymore.
Weirdest combination I ever saw, and they weren't really that popular at the time, but REM opened one time for the Go-Go's. I didn't know who REM was.
All right.
After that, I went and bought Murmur, Reckoning, whatever the first one is. And then I saw Guns N' Roses open up for Aerosmith in front of the curtain on their, whatever the Angel tour was. Yeah. It was like 88, 89. And I mean, once you saw the power of Guns N' Roses ripping through one album of just nothing but killer material, when Aerosmith came out, those were the days where they were doing like more power ballads than anything else.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. That's exactly what the tour was. So it wasn't the worst thing, but it was just like it was.
You don't want to follow Guns N' Roses.
You do not, and especially because they just did not have anything. They were stripped down. They were in front of the curtain when the curtain opened. Aerosmith had the big A that came up and stuff, and it didn't matter because it just wasn't as good as Guns N' Roses.
Dude, I saw Kanye, and he wasn't the headliner. And it was at the 930 Club in D.C.
So that was back on the East Coast, wasn't it?
Yeah, but same thing. Like, you saw him. I kind of knew a couple of his songs through the wire.
Yeah.
And then he also had John Legend playing piano on stage with him, but we didn't know who John Legend was. And he had Alicia Keys come out and sing some songs.
How stupid do you feel now? Like, there's John Legend, Alicia Keys, and Kanye West. You're like, who are those guys?
Because he had produced them all. So part of his show was he just stood on stage and was like, you know this song? And she'd come out and start singing half a verse, and he'd be like, I'll produce that. And then, like, John Legend would sing a song, and he'd go, I'll produce that.
You know what? John Legend is sold out for Chateau Saint-Michel.
I'm not shocked.
You can't even get in there.
You know who sold it out? Train. Now listen.
Yeah.
I do not.
Train opened up for Hall & Oates, and I thought they blew him off the stage.
Come on.
I told you that when we
Train was awful.
I thought they were much better than Hall. And I love Hall & Oates.
Let me rephrase it. I cannot say the Train did not put on a good show. I look out there for the last 3 songs, okay? And that was intentional because I hate them. They were energetic. They seemed very kind. They know how to work an audience. The misfortunate part was that they kept playing their own music. Like, guys, this would be fantastic to cover bands that people actually like.
Right.
But people that like Train love Train. And they sold out Chateau
Mm-hmm. They sure did.
I just think they're the worst.
Oh, the one that
they are horrible.
The one that pissed me off more than any of them was the first Lollapalooza.
All right.
There's 2 or 3 bands that I really want to see. And we figured, okay, it's 12:30 at this point in time. You're still allowed to barbecue and tailgate at the parking lot at basically a place equivalent
to the horse racing place, are they?
No, this was a different place. This was Star Lake Amphitheater in Pittsburgh. That was Lollapalooza
Charleston,
2, yeah, that had that Charlestown had, but this was the first one. So we knew we had time, and there was all these bands that we kind of didn't know, but we knew the bands that we did know. One of the bands we want to see is Pearl Jam.
Sure.
So we're all fired up to see Pearl Jam.
How many times have you seen them now?
Well, a lot. The best one, Voters for Choice, and at DAR Constitution Hall, because it was such a crazy cool venue. I think they played with L7. But anyway, so we just put the charcoals are hot. We got hamburgers and hot dogs. We're going to eat before we go in there because they did have a no return policy.
Right.
So once you went in there, man,
no in and out.
Yeah, your day was done. So we just wanted to make sure we ate. We got all our stuff. Everything's hot, and all of a sudden, I hear the opening. The first band to take the stage was frickin' Pearl Jam. And they come out with Alive, which was the song I wanted to see. And I mean, we are a mile away from the venue. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Pearl Jam's coming out first.
Right.
Because I was just like, they were a big band, you know?
Right, you already knew who
right.
Actually, you know what's a good call? At the Lollapalooza I went to, the opening band, I had heard of them, but did not know anything about them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rage Against the Machine. Bro, nobody wanted to follow them after that. They came out and they played the way Rage plays, but we had not seen this band, we had not heard that band, and when they finished their set, it was almost like dead silence. Everyone was looking at each other like, who in the F was that? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, whoever comes up next, I feel terrible for that band because you're not going to top this band. And then the next band that came out, they played their opening song, pretty cool. And then this dude dressed really weird walks up to the microphone and goes, "Oh, sorry for being rude. Ladies and gentlemen, we're Tool. Tool, the Crowd." Those are the 2 opening bands. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
that's awesome.
And then it was some band like.
But they're playing in the middle of the day.
Dude, but
weird,
it was
you know what I mean?
unbelievable.
It's not that concerts are bad in the day. I mean, bummers.
That's just weird.
It's just weird when you don't have all the lighting and all the stuff. Because Ministry came out, it looked like they were going to burn the house down one year. I can't remember which Lollapalooza was, but you really thought, even though you're way back, you're going to catch on fire.
Sure.
It was just insane. Well, the reason we asked who was the most memorable opening act that you've seen. Steven Seagal's band Thunderbox.
Oh, boy.
They opened for Sammy Hagar in Phoenix in 2006, and Sammy had some words about that date. He said Sammy said that Steven Seagal, he had a 10-piece band with security guards and an entourage of 30 people. I'm the headliner of the show, and I had to give him the big dressing room because he had so many damn people, and every single one of them was packing heat. Steven's manager said, quote, "Just as he's going on stage, he hands me 2 45s, and I'm like shocked. I've got these 2 pistols in my hand." Well, after the performance, Steven took his 2 pistols back, put them in his pockets to protect himself. Apparently, he was packing because he was on a mafia hit list, which is the only reason that he wouldn't fly. He wouldn't fly commercial. He only flies private because he thought someone was going to shoot him. And as for their performance, Sammy said they knocked it out of the park.
Really?
He was impressed.
All right.
Yeah, he said he had caked on makeup like he was ready to shoot a movie, but hey, they paid him the $1,000 that he asked for.
That's it.
That's it. More of the random question coming up, 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.